For years now, there's been an outrage only by a certain selective group in Tamil Nadu against lyricist, and it's not short to call him legendary lyricist, Vairamuthu. And now here on India Today, we're carrying forward this campaign where women are speaking out, demanding action against him. He's been accused repeatedly of sexual harassment, and yet he's been someone who's been accommodated by the highest chambers of the film industry and of politics. We've gotten you singer Chinmay Shripada's voice, who's repeatedly spoken out against Vairamuthu and questioned him. Now joining us here on India Today is singer Bhuvana Seshan. She's gone public several times before to talk about how Vairamuthu harassed her, and yet no action has been taken against him. Bhuvana, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. Vanakkam to you. Can you tell us, Bhuvana, and I know it's extremely painful to recount what would have happened. This is almost 2 decades back. But can you tell us exactly what your experience was like with the legendary lyricist, with Vairamuthu?
Right. First of all, I'm a singer just as an aspiring singer, that's all. Now, because I'm not a known singer in now. So, back in 1998, I was young and vibrant and full of dreams. And that's when I was singing here and there, like jingles and stuff. I did some jingles for Whirlpool and stuff like that. That's when another jingle for a textile showroom in Trichy came up, which had Mr. Vairamuthu's lyrics, and he was in charge of the production of the jingle also. So that's when I met him first, and he told me about my voice and my Tamil diction, and I was writing my lyrics in Tamil, so he was impressed by that, and he said, since I have a great voice, I'm going to give your CD to Mr. A.R. Rahman. So naturally, as a young aspiring singer, I was on cloud 9 those days, and I said, okay, fine. I went to Mr. Vairamuthu's office in Kodambakam, Chennai. The next day, I gave him a CD. And those days, 1998 was the time of landlines, no mobile phone, no social media, nothing. So he used to call on my landline number every day. We used to talk about a lot of things because I'm very fond of Tamil literature. And I come from a family of Tamil literature enthusiasts. So I used to discuss a lot with him, and I mean, there is no denying that, his caliber in that, there is no denying that. But as time went on, the conversations became a little personal. And I was getting a little uncomfortable, but since I was too young, I didn't even know to identify it and respond to it. But one day he directly asked me, he said he was going to Malaysia for an award function in some Tamil Changam award or something like that. And he asked me if I would be willing to join him. I thought he was calling me for a concert to sing there or even anchor there, because I was reading news back then in Tamil. So I thought maybe he wanted me to anchor or sing. So when I asked him whether you want me to anchor or sing, he said neither, just come with me. And that's when it hit me where the conversations have gone, by the last few days. So I told him, no, I'm not comfortable with this line of conversation at all. And I think we should put an end to talking to each other right now. And he actually tried to lure me, saying, I have the capacity to make you a singer overnight. You can be a star overnight, or you can be a nothing overnight. So I said, if I have to compromise on my values, I'd rather be a nothing overnight than be a singer overnight. That's my choice. And he pulled up a couple of names, which I don't want to mention. And then he said, you don't know how they came up in the industry. I said, I don't care. I'm not sitting on a moral throne here. That's not what I mean. This is my choice. I don't want to compromise my values just to become a huge singer tomorrow. So forget it. I'll walk away from it. Don't call me anymore. But then, of course, he called me a couple of days later to recheck with me, and then he got the message. And subsequently, I was not singing for big films and all that those days. I sang a couple of films, good films actually, good songs actually before that. But then I was only singing, those tiny devotional albums and pop albums and jingles and stuff. Slowly, they were getting cancelled. So
you did feel the impact of your decision.
I did. It took some time for me to understand that, because I never knew something in those days, It was so young, and I come from a very conservative family, so I didn't even know that such things existed. So it took some time for me to understand actually what was happening, and that's when I said, okay, fine, I get the message loud and clear. And coming out in 2018, I would like to make this very, very clear.
Hmm.
I had no personal agenda there because I was already a nobody. I was nothing in the industry. I never pursued anything in the industry. I was only singing on stage. I'm still singing on stage and I'm happy with that. I have my set of fans who love my voice and I'm very happy performing for them. So that is there. But when the allegations began to come, 3 women, 4 women, and the social media was full of abuses for the victims.
Hmm.
Because he was a celebrity, because he was a national name, they didn't believe that he was capable of that. That's when I thought I had to step in and say that he is capable of that. So my point in coming out was not to get closure for myself, because I knew by then I was not going to get any closure.
Yeah.
But I wanted to substantiate that these young girls who are claiming now, there is definitely something in their allegations, because I went through this with Mr. Vairamuthu.
I just want to add here, Bhuvna, that there's no need for you to really justify or defend yourself. What you have leveled here is extremely serious. And from what you're telling us, this perhaps could have happened with so many other women who, just like you, decided to back off and say, hey, this is where I draw the line. There are about 17 to 18, as you've said, who've spoken out, just like you, who've been brave enough to actually take a stand against Vairamuthu. Because if anyone who's in Chennai, who's grown up in Tamil Nadu, knows how influential he is. And that's very clear right now also in the response. You spoke out. Did you see any action or at least a nod in your direction when you spoke out?
No, no. There were some abuses on social media, but like I said, I had a group of, I have a huge circle of people who know me and people who love my singing. So they believed me and they were standing by me, so I could take all the social media abuses, because they were giving me a lot. My friends were giving me a lot of strength, and my son. He was a teenager, and he was very courageous. He gave me all the strength to go through it, and he kept on telling me, ignore social media. He said, social media is a virtual garbage can, Ma, just forget it. Don't even read the comments. So I was getting support from my son and my friends. So I did not feel much of the pain, and as it is, I was nothing. But she was banned for 5 years. The last 5 years, she has been banned. That's not fair. Pull her up, have a dialogue with whoever is accusing, whoever is throwing allegations. The minimum the industry can do is pull up and have a dialogue, but nobody was even willing to talk to us. That was what is that saddened me a lot, because I could see a number of youngsters, young girls who are not able to speak out. I think only 4 of us were willing to come out with our names and faces.
Yes.
The others were anonymous. That was so sad. Those voices are already stifled.
And you can understand that, they must be scared. They must already feel defeated because there are so many high-profile names like Chinmayi who've spoken out and nothing's happened. She's such a popular singer, and despite that, no action has been taken. You've spoken out. You have that kind of strength, the moral support that you need to speak out. There are countless women, I'm sure, who don't have that. But does it shock you in a sense, Bhuvna? Is it a reality check of sorts that, despite this, nothing has happened? If we're talking about protection from the film industry, we're talking about protection also from political circles for Vairamuthu.
Everywhere, any industry, if you take it for that matter, any industry, you should have some kind of accountability. It's always the victim that's backing off. Even if she is willing to come out and say something, at some point, she stops herself and says, I'm not able to take this, let me step back. But I'm really surprised, and hats off to Chinmay for continuing her fight in spite of so much, and in spite of being banned, in spite of her caliber. She has probably sung 4 songs in the last 5 years in Tamil.